From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, October 18th, 2016. Silver is trading at $17.61 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,260 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $641. Antiwar.com reports following calls by U.S. and British officials for a ceasefire in Yemen, the pro-Saudi Hadi government and the Shiite Houthis have agreed to implement a 72-hour ceasefire with possibilities of extensions if all goes well. The truce is set to begin late Wednesday. UN officials say the ceasefire will allow for an increase in humanitarian aid deliveries. The pro-Saudi forces condition the truce on aid coming into their portion of Taiz. Getting aid into the Houthi parts of the country, by contrast, is more heavily dependent on getting ships through the Saudi naval blockade. On that count, the Saudis did promise to support the ceasefire, but did not necessarily say they'll be participating in it. That could be problematic, as previous ceasefires have often faltered, with the Yemeni factions mostly holding their fire and Saudi bombs raining down throughout. There is no indication that any sort of peace talks are being planned for the 72-hour ceasefire, and both sides are likely waiting to see if this holds longer than previous efforts. The backing by U.S. and British officials may give a little more momentum to this round, though it remains to be seen if that means the calms will last longer or just that more effort will be made by both sides to blame the other for the failure. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the attorney for a central witness in the 2012 child sex abuse case against former Penn State football assistant coach Jerry Sandusky argued on Monday that his client was effectively ostracized by the university for coming forward with the allegations. In his opening remarks for the civil case, attorney Elliot Strogoff told jurors that simply reporting the crimes effectively ended his client Mike McQuarrie's career with the university. McQuarrie was one of the main witnesses for prosecutors during Sandusky's original trial 4 years ago. As an assistant coach under famed head football coach Joe Paterno, McQuarrie told school officials in 2001 that he witnessed Sandusky sexually assault a young boy in the locker room. After he came forward to report the assault, and when news of the scandal broke in 2011, Strogoff argued the university attempted to defame him in public statements and refused to renew his contract with the football team. The motive, he said, was to undermine McQuarrie's credibility in hopes that the case would go away. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com. Reuters reports the president of an organization representing U.S. and international police officials apologized on Monday for the role law enforcement has played in society's historical mistreatment of communities of color. The remarks by Terrence Cunningham, president of the International Association of Chiefs of Police, come amid a recent string of killings of minorities by officers that have sparked protest across the United States and calls for greater accountability in the use of deadly force. According to a transcript provided by the group, Cunningham, speaking at the group's convention in San Diego, did not mention any particular incident. Cunningham said there have been times when law enforcement officers, because of laws enacted by federal, state, and local governments, have been the face of oppression for far too many of our fellow citizens. Cunningham, who is the police chief in Wellesley, Massachusetts, near Boston, said it was also important for those critical of police to acknowledge that today's officers are not to blame for the injustices of the past. The IACP, which was founded more than 100 years ago, represents 20,000 law enforcement professionals from 100 countries. Attorney General Loretta Lynch, speaking to the IACP conference on Monday, called an announcement by the Department of Justice that in 2017 it would begin collecting data about law enforcement officers' use of force nationwide preliminary. But Lynch said the move represents the framework for initiatives that will allow all of us to gain what we have sorely lacked, an accurate picture of what is actually happening out in the field. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.